Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is BZ Sassy NYC come with another video. Today, I will be reading from an article that I came across today called The Time of Jacob's Trouble. Since the eclipse we had 2-3 days ago happened, a lot of weird stuff is going on around the world. Water turning blood red, animals dying, bugs attacking, earthquakes, floods, you name it, we're getting it. I want to basically read this so people could understand who they are as people of color. It's time for everybody to wake up, take heed, turn back to the Most High, go back to the way that we was before we came to America in the Caribbean and the Europe nation. The God that we worshipped, not what the so-called white man of Christianity taught us. Basically, this is our time to unite, become one family. 2-3 days ago was the anniversary of the Stop the Violence movement that was made by Boogie Down Productions, the song Self-Destruction. Put down the guns and unite. So that being said, I'm going to read The Time of Jacob's Troubles. As the time of Christ's return draws near, Satan will direct his wrath not only toward faithful Christians, but toward the physical descendants of all Israel. Shortly after the return of Christ, all of the descendants of ancient Israel, including the descendants of the so-called Lost 10 Tribes, will again gather and resettle in Palestine. Jerusalem will once more be the capital of the restored 12 tribes of Israel, as well as the capital of the world. This reunion of all 12 tribes is described in some detail in Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 15 through 28. God also explained it to the prophet Jeremiah, as it reads, "For behold, the days are coming that I will bring back from my captivity my people Israel and Judah, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it." Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 3. God also indicated to Jeremiah that while he would allow the future descendants of the ancient kingdoms of Israel and Judah to fall into captivity, which was the year 1619, he will also rescue some of them from it, where they're scattered at, in Europe, America, the Caribbean islands, and in Asia. He calls this end-time catastrophe especially on the descendants of ancient Israel's northern kingdom, now known only as the Lost 10 Tribes, the time of Jacob's trouble. And it reads, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. And it is the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." Jeremiah chapter 37. God revealed to Daniel that such a time of trouble will occur at the time of the end. At that time, Michael the archangel shall stand up, the great prince who stands watch over the sons of your people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was seen there was a nation, even to that time. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. This and other prophecies indicate that Satan's wrath during the last days will be directed not only toward faithful Christians, but also toward the ethnic descendants of all of Israel, the Jews, as well as descendants of the Lost 10 Tribes whose identity Satan has never forgotten, the Hebrew Israelites. It will be especially directed toward the United States. Now listen now, these are the key players of where all of Israel is, as of color. The United States, Britain, Canada, and the other descended people of British descent, who are the modern-day descendants of Joseph's sons Ephraim and Manasseh. Remember, Joseph was living in Egypt, so his sons were from an Egyptian woman. Notice the reassurance God gives to all of his belligerent people of Israel in the last days. And it reads, "So then the days are coming, declare the Lord, when people will no longer say, as surely as the Lord lives, who brought the Israelites up out of Egypt, but they will say, as surely as the Lord lives, who brought the descendants of Israel up out of the land of the north, and out of all the countries where he had banished them, then they will live in their own land." Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 7 through 8. "Therefore do not fear, O my servant Jacob, said the Lord, nor be dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. Jacob shall return, have rest, and be quiet, and no one shall make him afraid." Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 10. "See, I will bring them from the land of the north, and gather them from the ends of the earth. Among them will be the blind and the lame, expectant mothers and women in labor. A great throng will return. They will come with weeping. They will pray as I bring them back, and I will lead them, because I am Israel's father, and Ephraim is my firstborn son." Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 8 through 9. "On that day you will not be put to shame for all the wrongs you have done to me, but I will leave within you the meek and humble, who trust in the name of the Lord. The remnant of Israel will do no wrong. They will speak no lies, nor will deceit be found in their mouth. They will eat and lie down, and no one will make them afraid." Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 11 through 13. And in closing, once Christ rescues the ethnic descendants of ancient Israel from this time of Jacob's trouble in the last days, he will use them to fulfill the role their forefathers agreed to carry out in the time of Moses. He will make them the world's model people, a nation of teachers, a kingdom of priests. Exodus verse 19 through 6. Compare Deuteronomy chapter 4, 5 through 8, and Zechariah chapter 8 through 23. And read Exodus chapter 19, verse 6. As you can see in that nice, written out, very well put article, it's basically telling you that the time is now, 2019, that Israel and Judah have to come together and be one nation again under the Most High. I want to give you a little backstory real quick of the word Christianity and where it stems from. As you know, Christianity comes from Constantine and the Roman Catholic Church. He took away all the laws, all the commandments, even the feasts, and made up his own feasts, which includes Christmas, Easter, and all the rest of them. And he took away the most holiest of one, the Sabbath, which falls on a Friday evening after 5 and ends Saturday after 5. It never fell on a Sunday, because Sunday is the day that you worship the sun god of Nimrod and his mother. That's a pagan day, and it should never be worshipped at all. And the Christian church needs to drop it and stop telling people to worship on a Sunday, because you're making people commit an unholy sin of worshiping on a Sunday. Saturday is your rest day. You do no works at all. And the word Christian comes from a time after Christ's death, because the Hebrew people of that time used to be called the tribes that they belonged to, Benjamites, Judites, Nephthali's, wherever they was located at on their lot, that's the name they was given. And that's what the people called each other. Or they call them the Hebrews. But when Christ passed, the disciples were followers of his. So people started following them. So the Roman Catholics and the Romans and all the rest of them was calling them Hebrew Christians, followers of the Christ. That's where the word Christianity comes from. Followers of Christ. But the name that we was given was Hebrew Christians or Israelites. So as you know, the prophecy was written. There's no way of running from it. The world is getting crazy. You see what's going on with Trump and this wall and this government shutdown. People are suffering, and they have to go about day-to-day basis of what they should buy and what they shouldn't buy. Now they have to make a decision to pay their mortgage or their medical bills. It's a shame what this world has turned into. And it's a shame that they let this man do this to us. I didn't believe that the president had that much power to make people suffer, and they sit back and don't do nothing about it. It don't make sense that this government shutdown is going down like this for this long. Things are getting taken away from people, and nobody's realizing what's going on in the world. People have turned away from the Bible. You need to go back and start reading it again and understanding what you're reading. That's why when slavery happened, they had a slavery Bible. They took out all the words of the Bible. They took out Deuteronomy. They took out Revelations. They took out everything about slaves being free and fighting for their salvation. All they left in that Bible was all about solitude and breaking down the slave if they don't listen to their master. And that's the Bible that they gave to the slaves to read in church. And they made sure that pastor read it to them while they sat on the side. People say that the Bible is not ours. Yes, it is. If you read the Bible from back to front to back, you'll see that everybody was either from Egypt, Iran, Iraq, Palestine, and Africa. Moses, Abraham, all of them had black wives. All of them. Solomon, David, all of them. All had black wives. All of them. All the people in the Bible had black wives. All their children were black. So all this foolishness that's going on the internet and on YouTube and everywhere else, it don't make no sense. I'm tired of hearing it. The truth is right in people's face, and they act blind to what they're seeing, or they just don't want to see it. But the Most High is angry. This is just part of his wrath, what's going on right now. People are ready to repent and get on their knees and go back to him and his son before it's too late. He's giving us warnings. All these blood moons that has happened since 2016, 14, 18, and now 19. People better wake up and start reading and understanding what's going on. Get that mental block out of your head. Take a key and unlock it. Seek that knowledge and that understanding. It took him to knock me down to my knees 3, 4, 5 years ago, giving me visions and dreams. And every time I open my Bible, it take me to passages about Ezekiel and about the end times. And about Judah and everybody coming back from being scattered and being one nation. His people. But with that said, I'm going to close out. I hope you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell when done. And I'll be back again with another video. Shalom.